Moving on to item 43, Liverpool, maritime mercantile city in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. I will now invite Mrs. Tocharova, Chief of the Europe and North America Unit of the World Heritage Centre of UNESCO, to present the report on the state of conservation of the cultural properties located in the Europe and North America region, which is now open for discussion. Over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You could find the State of Conservation report could be found on page 82 in the English version and page 86 of the French version of document 7A. This State of Conservation report has been opened proposed for opening for discussion by the World Heritage Centre and the advisory bodies, ICOMOS and ICROM. As the State of Conservation report indicates, there was an advisory mission to the property, a joint advisory mission by the World Heritage Centre and ICOMOS, and by the time the State of Conservation report was issued, we had not actually finalized the advisory mission report, and we received some of the comments of the state party at the time when the State of Conservation report was issued. So we believed that this is also an opportunity to adjust the timeline to what is possible and what is recommendable, and therefore a draft revised decision has been proposed by the World Heritage Centre, ICOMOS and ICROM. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, and I give the floor now to ICOMOS.
Thank you, Madam Chair. ICOMOS acknowledges that this property continues to face strong challenges associated with an approved large-scale development. ICOMOS has participated in joint World Heritage Centre and ICOMOS missions in 2006 and 2011 prior to the most recent advisory mission in February 2015. Over this period, there has been genuine progress in improving the state of conservation of the property through repair and reuse of outstanding historic buildings and structures which were previously at risk. However, the major threat to the outstanding universal value posed by overdevelopment within the property itself and within its buffer zone remains. ICOMOS has consistently advised since 2006 that the proposed Liverpool Waters development, and specifically the scale of the proposed development, would fundamentally adversely affect the outstanding universal value of the property. The approval of this development has increased the direct threat to the outstanding universal value of the property. ICOMOS regrets the apparent misalignment between the obligations of the state party and the ability of the local planning authority to grant approval for developments which have adverse effects on World Heritage properties. The outline planning consent granted in 2012 permits the proposed development, and neither the state party nor the Liverpool City Council will now intervene other than to seek design refinement within the parameters of what has already been approved. This arrangement of itself does not adequately address the threat to outstanding universal value of the property, which would require substantial reduction in the density and height of the buildings. ICOMOS understands that this can only be achieved through engagement between Liverpool City Council, the developer and English Heritage. The state party may contribute to facilitating such discussions or pursuing measures which would allow changes to the extent and scope of the proposed scheme. ICOMOS therefore considers that the preparation of a revised outcomes-to-focus desired state of conservation, which identifies precisely how the approved scheme should be refined, is now what is needed, together with the necessary corrective measures, and these should inform the necessary changes to the proposed scheme prior to consideration of any detailed planning proposals. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, ICOMOS. I now invite committee members to express their comments. Poland, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Liverpool, maritime mercantile city, was inscribed on the World Heritage List in 2004, already with some concerns about development, and these concerns remain current over the 11 years of inscription. In 2012, the property was inscribed on the list of World Heritage in danger due to Liverpool Waters, a major large-scale development project planned for implementation over a 30-year period in an area of 60 hectares, covering a part of inscribed property as well as a part of its buffer zone. The 2012 decision reiterates its serious concern over the potential threat of the Liverpool Waters development scheme on the outstanding universal value of the property, and notes that the implementation of the development as currently planned would irreversibly damage the attributes and conditions of integrity that warranted inscription and could lead to the potential deletion of the property from the World Heritage List. The quoted paragraph was repeated in the 2013 and 2014 decisions, but is missing in the current draft decision. We haven't found the explanation for that in documents available for the session. Therefore, we would like to ask ICOMOS for clarification of this issue before decision is taken. Thank you.
Thank you, Poland. Portugal, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I must say that I was not worried before, but after hearing our friend from ICOMOS, I became quite worried with the situation in this in Liverpool, and I think it's along the same lines as the request for clarification that Poland just presented. If the situation is such a serious one, I think we would need to have a report as urgently as possible. Now, I see that it is understood that no new detailed plans affecting the property will be approved before that date. Being understood is a bit vague. Could I ask for some clarification? Is there really an undertaking not to alter the situation before the 1st of December 2016? I thank you.
Thank you to the Ambassador of Portugal. 2 clarifications. And if there are no more committee members who are going to take the floor, I would now request the UK to take the floor. UK?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The newly elected UK government would like to become an example of how the World Heritage Convention should be implemented. It is therefore committed to the successful removal of Liverpool from the World Heritage in Danger List.
It's Emilio and John.
This commitment is shared by all stakeholders in Liverpool as
Who
well.
helped put us there in the first
We welcome
place?
the advisory mission report, which we find helpful and constructive. There are, however, some elements of that report where the recommendations are very broad and they may be difficult to implement. Indeed, some may go beyond the remit of the committee by seeking to integrate the management of projects some kilometres away from the World Heritage property with the property, and also in the administration of a different municipal authority. We therefore hope there will be the ability to have discussions about what is achievable and deliverable in relation to the mission report.
We got him a free holiday there.
See the idea of a series of technical workshops, and this may indeed be helpful, but we hope that this will be part of a wider, constructive and ongoing discussion with the World Heritage Centre
There's one born every
and
minute,
with
and
the
it's Henry Owen
advisory
John.
bodies. We therefore welcome the extra time that has been allowed to enable these discussions to take place before the desired state of conservation report is submitted by December 1st, 2016. In terms of the point raised by Portugal, there is a commitment to follow the advisory mission's recommendation that no new development should take place
within the central docks area of the World Heritage property and its buffer zone. Everyone in the UK is in agreement with that. It would, however, be unhelpful to place a moratorium on new development across the property as a whole, as suggested in the draft decision at the moment.
Oh, here he
that
is.
would stop beneficial projects taking place.
He's after
and
another
we hope
promotion.
that the committee will be able
Scratching
to
someone's
bear
back.
this in mind in reaching its decision. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, UK.
They shouldn't allow that.
Portugal and Poland had raised specific points from the floor, and on hearing the response from the representative of the UK, are you quite satisfied? Does this answer your questions? Would you like to take the floor, either of you? Portugal, you have the floor.
Thank you. I would. And I thank the British representative for his clarifications. They are useful, although they don't put my mind at rest.
Well said.
I had addressed the question to ICOMOS, so Madam President, if you would allow the representative of ICOMOS to address the issue I raised. Thank you.
Thank you, Portugal. It was always the intention to return to our technical
What's an English
experts.
fella doing working for
And
Poland?
I will now turn to ICOMOS to clarify the position.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I may, I will respond to the questions raised by the delegates from both Poland and Portugal, while acknowledging the very positive attitude that the state party brings to the extremely challenging position in which the state party finds itself as a result
rubbish.
of the local approval that took place in 2012. To answer directly the question that Poland poses, the threat to the property remains unchanged. A development has been approved in an outline building envelope form, which the committee has previously resolved and advised on a number of occasions.
She English, the one in
If
the
built to
green.
that full envelope, would result in irreversible damage to outstanding universal value. That situation is still current. The problem is that by virtue of the statutory arrangements within the United Kingdom, it is a valid approval that has been given by the City of Liverpool, and our understanding is that the basis on which the necessary corrective measures and changes may take place will rely on engagement and discussions between the various parties involved, particularly the state party, its agent English Heritage, the City of Liverpool and the development company. And this is why a strong and clear resolution from the committee would be helpful. It is also why there needs to be a very clear desired state of conservation expressed, which ensures that there is no misunderstanding about what must or must not happen.
Well said.
In order for the threat to be removed. There have been a number of attempts to draft a desired state of conservation on processes, and what is needed is some very clear communication and a meeting of minds between the parties to the discussions. These are very clear matters about height and density, and the desired state of conservation needs to be expressed in those terms. It is the understanding of ICOMOS, based on representations and a commitment from the state party, that until this agreed desired state of conservation is prepared, indeed until December 2016, there would be a moratorium on approval of the sub-plans that are required in order to implement the Liverpool Waters development. So, as the delegate from the United Kingdom has indicated, our understanding is that it is the Liverpool Waters development which would be subject to the moratorium, not other beneficial actions which may take place within the property. Madam Chair, I hope that answers the questions that have been raised. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, ICOMOS. Portugal and Poland, does this answer your points? Poland, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, ICOMOS. It clarifies our concerns. We hope for implementation of those provisions. Thank you.
Portugal, are you okay?
I'm okay, yes, sure. Yeah, thank you. No, I thank ICOMOS. The only thing is, of course, there's a lot, quote unquote, wishful thinking, and we all hope for the best. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. Thank you.
Hope for the best with Joe Anderson, the mayor in power.
Thank you, Portugal.
You must be having a laugh.
Thank you to the Ambassador of Portugal. Well, in that case, I think we can now move on to draft decision 39.7A.43 Rev. And I will now turn to the rapporteur and
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair.
Sorry, my mistake. The revised decision has been circulated to everybody. I presume all of you have the revised decision. In which case, if there are no objections, we can move to the adoption of the revised decision. I'm looking all around and I do not see any objections to the adoption of the revised decision on Liverpool Maritime Mercantile City, in which case I will propose to declare 39.7A.43 Rev adopted. It is so decided. Moving on